Well, hey everyone. I have a little bit of good news for you today, and I have some bad news to share. The bad news right out of the gate is that I made a critical error when starting my seeds, and I've got to fix it. And so I'm going to take you along today as I go through what I'm going to do. And so basically, what happened is back when I started a lot of these seeds in February and in March, I had run out of my favorite seed starting mix. And so I sent Paul to the store. Actually, we both were there shopping around. I couldn't find the seed starting mix I wanted, it was out of stock. And so I had heard in a few other videos of people who garden and stuff that they're just like, just use potting mix. Potting mix is fine. You don't have to worry. It's okay. Seed starting is just a waste of money. And so I went ahead and got some potting mix just to use in the interim time. And so I started my seeds in that. And I started getting very concerned a week or two ago when I noticed that a lot of my plants are still barely going, and they're just struggling. I don't know how else to put it. Some of them are pale, they're spindly, they're barely producing any true growth on them. And some of them haven't even escaped that first set of leaves, which is just the seedling leaves. It's not even the true leaves of the plant at that point. And so I was obviously very concerned because we are vastly approaching our hot warm up here in southeastern Arizona, and I've got to get some things ready to go. And so basically, at this point in time, after looking at my seedlings, realizing that that potting soil is probably the cause of it. Reason being is that seed starting mix typically wants to retain enough water for that seedling in that cell tray. And then it also has a lot of things in there to help promote aeration, like perlite, vermiculite. Some have coconut coir, things of that sort, which also allows that soil to breathe, which allows the seedling to produce its roots and so forth and grow. And unfortunately, I think the potting mix I had was just so terribly crappy that it just basically has been suffocating everything and not allowing it to move forward. It has been dense and heavy, and it's just not working. I went out finally, I told Paul, I was like, I have to buy true seed starting mix because I think that is what is messing all of this up. I've got my supplies now, and I hate to say it, but some of these seedlings are probably just going to not make it. At this point, they've been growing now for a month or two. They're barely big, and I just don't think they're saving them at this point. Some have already been repotted in some cases into the potting mix again, but they're just not showing growth. They're not healthy, and I just have to call my losses and just go for it and restart, cross my fingers, and hope I can get some of these out there before it is too unbearably hot for anything to get started. But this is not going to be a video completely of mistakes and beating myself up and all that stuff. I recognize the error that I've made. I know going forward next time not to do that. This is my first year for anybody who's new here. I'm just starting this whole venture out into flower farming, and pretty much, if you want to call it, gardening at this point, because I am acclimating to a completely new zone I've never grown in before. I have some great news, and I'll take you around and show you kind of also what's been going on in the garden in this video. But for now, I've got to get these guys either tossed or I've got to get some new things started, and quickly. So join me on that part. So here's what I mean when I'm talking about I've got very minimal growth. And so I'm just looking at these straw flowers here, and these guys, to be honest, should be at least an inch or two tall at this point based on the date that I actually planted them out. And you see they don't really look the greatest, and I think they're just getting smothered by that potting mix. And I'm not putting a lot of water on these. In fact, I've had to scale back my watering that I'm used to with just regular seed starting mix because of the issues that they're having. The bee balm seems to be thriving okay, which is kind of strange. But these are powerhouses anyways. I don't know if you know, but they take over garden beds, so I'm not surprised that they have pretty strong seedlings as well. But here's a great example. These snaps were planted a few weeks ago, and they look so pitiful. Some have not germinated. The ones that have, some of these are dead. Like this one, it's laying on its side, it's gone, you know. And this is because they're just either getting root rot from all the watering that took place, or it's just the soil is just killing them. It's just not good quality. So that's why I've got to switch to something else. The status is doing awful. Look at that, guys. Since I've repotted it in here, that these guys are gone, and that's so disappointing. So I would say these two are probably the better of the status that I actually have left, and they don't look great. See, look at that. They look awful. And the other ones that are getting a lot of impact, which I've already replanted, and again, they're just doing awful. Look at that. Like, just, they've been repotted and they're just dying. They're not taking this at all. And the biggest ones that I have look so scrawny. They look so pale, like they're half on the verge of just like keeling over. They just look so pitiful, guys. And so even the basil that I have in these trays just does not like this. So the only thing that I've had that's actually done okay is the ones that don't give a crap about the soil they're in. So like these Pro Cut sunflowers burst right through it, no issues. The zinnias that I started, perfect, because zinnias could like give a crap about the soil that they're planted in. So yeah, I hate to say it, a lot of these guys are gonna have to just be dumped and just restarted, and that makes me so sad. Oh man. All right. I'm not gonna waste these. I'm literally just seed and all going to just dump it back into my potting soil bag and just use this outside at some other point or place. No need to completely waste all of this. It could definitely be used to just maybe bump up my compost bin or just something else other than starting seeds. All right, here we go again. So everybody is potted up. This whole entire row is just everything that you saw me pot up there. So I kept just a couple of things, and most of it's for experimentation because I really want to see if my hypothesis was correct and it was the soil that was really killing everything. And so I kept a tray of straw flour that might make it through, and then I kept some of the celosia down here, some of the better ones that I had left, and I've also got a couple of status down there as well. So we're gonna see what happens. I'm really hopeful that the seed starting mix is going to make a huge difference and that these guys will be off to a much better foot and I can get them out fairly quickly. But again, lesson learned, another lesson, right? I'll just jot it in my book. But yeah, so I do want to show you some of the good things that have been going on in the garden. So I'm going to take you now out so you can see that.
next section is huge, y'all. This is what we have been working towards for the past few winter months, and those of you who have watched from the beginning know what a huge struggle I have had with snapdragons, where I've pretty much pulled an entire bed that died over the winter season, had seedling starting troubles, all of that fun stuff, and now I can finally be able to say that I've harvested some of that hard work that went into that. So it is not much. It is not a great, bountiful harvest by any means, but I am so proud of myself that I was able to harvest anything and teach myself how to get these guys to go and to make it through such a rough growing season. So I wanted to share this with you all and just celebrate a little bit. It is not a full bouquet, but it is such an important bouquet to start this journey into what I hope to become something more fruitful and more bountiful.